Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting session of Indeed and People Matters Top Jobs in India 2.0. I'm Yasmin Taj, Managing Editor with People Matters, and I'm super excited about the way we are progressing ahead with our initiative, which aims at connecting people to their right companies and roles. The company we have with us today has been highly rated when it comes to work life balance, work culture, and job security and advancement. The company promises to offer a friendly and inclusive work environment where you will learn, grow, and be challenged every day. Ladies and gentlemen, today I have the pleasure of having with me James Thomas, Senior VP at Hinduja Global Services. James has an experience of over 25 years imparting vision and focus to key operations with renowned multinational manufacturing and service industries. He is a recipient of coveted awards and titles scaling the career ladder in senior and responsible positions. At AGS, he is responsible for cross leadership hiring, tech volume hiring, and transformation of TA projects across geographies. Welcome, James, and thank you so much for joining us for this session.
Hey, thanks, Jasmine. It's always nice to be a part of these sessions. People Matters, we all know, has been doing great with the HR fraternity. And our relationship with Indeed has been, since long, since the time that they have been in India. And, we have a global relationship with them. So always a pleasure to be here with you all.
The pleasure is all ours. Thank you. Thank you, James. And I'm really looking forward to interacting with James and knowing more about life at Hinduja Global Services and what it is like to work in one of the most progressive and innovative companies. To all our viewers, if you want to know anything specific about Hinduja Global Services, please post your questions in the comments section, which is on the right side of your screen. If you're watching this episode through our YouTube channels, please feel free to post your questions in the comments section. We will try and answer most of the questions that you have. So, guys, please keep the questions flowing. And without further ado, let's begin our conversation with James. So, James, how do you foresee the overall job market in India shaping up specifically in the next 6 to 9 months?
Yeah, I think, what in everyone's mind as of now would be the second wave of, COVID that's going across. But I think, we have come a long way and, people have started managing as far as such pandemic is concerned. So there's nothing to worry. And if you would have looked at the reports that the press carry, or chief economic advisor is looking forward to a 10% over double digit, growth as far as the economy is concerned. If you look at some of the job sites, they have seen a growth as far as the IT industry is concerned, and some of the other sectors are concerned. It is true that there are few other industries which needs to, pick up the steam, and we all know that there are innovative ways that they are looking out so that, they are able to attract people back into, purchasing things or traveling or touring or, enjoying their vacations. So I'm pretty sure that as we go across in the next 6 to 9 months, we will see a better growth that is taking place. And over and beyond this, if you would look at there's a new way of doing the entire business that has been identified, which is, through digital. And the digital way of, doing business itself has given a lot of opportunities to many people, and a lot of opportunities that have come across, which definitely will, steam up the overall growth factor as far as the jobs are concerned. So I'm pretty positive, looking forward to it.
Thanks, James. I think I totally agree with you. The kind of job opportunities that we're seeing that are opening up, especially since 2021 began, and the talent pool has become much larger for people to explore since we started working remotely, and there were multiple options of having gig workers and remote workers working for you. So I think it looks positive on for every industry, specifically the IT industry, as you mentioned. So thank you for sharing those insights, James. So, what are the major roles that you are planning to hire for in the next few months, James? Any comments on the hiring volumes also?
See, at GS during the COVID period as well, the good part is that we did not have any large impact as far as our hiring is concerned. Our business continued to be the same, and that's one thing that even the clients appreciated for us, that their customers did not have any impact as far as the service from HGS is concerned. So we were quick to react. We ensured that the operations continued the way that it has to continue. And what it did was that we also ensured that the entire recruitment machinery does not have any impact, and when continued with our the recruitment activities. And the numbers that we used to hire in the past also continued. And to give you an indication, we did almost around 16,000 hiring globally remotely. Okay, and this is across the globe remotely. And we think that the trend is continuing to remain the same as far as the future is concerned. Some of the roles that we hire for and will continue into hiring is HGS is mainly a healthcare service organization which has both the payer as well as the provider side of work that we have. So here we have most of our hiring taking place for fresh graduates. Who are looking out for opportunities in the either in the back office type of claim processing work, or as the voice process in which we do a lot of account receivables or work for hospital claims are concerned. Over and beyond that, we have almost around 8 to 10,000 people in India. So doing this operational work, so you need the entire support team that needs to support the operations of 10,000. So you have your team leaders, you have your trainers, you have your quality executives, the managers. So all of this hirings continues for us as usual, business as usual. We also support technology as far as healthcare is concerned to some of our clients. So we require continue to have people, with the background of healthcare technologies, the system administrators or the solution architects that we would be requiring for that. We are also very active as far as our digital footprint is concerned, and transformational activities are concerned for our clients. So continue to look out for people with process automation experience, as well as some of the analytics and digital experience that would be there. So that's what we are looking out for in the future.
Great. I think 16,000 people hiring remotely is a huge number. I think that's kudos to an organization like AGS for doing that, and the kind of opportunities you're mentioning. I think people who are watching us right now will be really excited to find out more about them, apply for them, and join a company like yours. I think a great example there. So thanks so much for sharing that, James. So
Sure.
James, yeah, thank you. Any major locations that you're planning to hire for, and also now that there have been talks about being remote for the near future, are you planning to open up some of the roles for a much wider remote workforce?
Yeah, so if you look at, and I'll be specific as far as India is concerned, the centers that we have in India is at Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Vizag. These are the locations that we are in. So obviously our hiring focus has always been, from these towns. Nevertheless, the nature of work that we do, there's a huge population of people from other states and towns used to come and join us here in Bangalore. But with the COVID situation, people are not migrating too much. And as you rightly said, looking out for opportunity, to work in a remote fashion is concerned. So clearly, as an organization, we are looking at how are we planning as far as the future is concerned. And while we are talking, we are evaluating on some of the models that we would like to work. And one of the models that we would be looking at is a hub and spoke model. And in the hub and spoke model, what we are, looking at is look at some of these centers in a tier two or tier three towns or cities, set up a training center there, or a hub in which people can move around or can engage, or we can have all those various activities that are happening as a hub, and look at hiring people remotely who can work remotely in and around those towns, and try to encourage people in that manner from those towns. Because as of now, as I said, the nature of work that we do, we have a lot of people who would be moving from the other towns and coming to Bangalore. So clearly, it would avoid that, and we are pretty sure that we will have a better talent pool. The second thing that we are also looking at is that while we look at a remote workforce that is available with us, look at an alternate channel also. So we are open to the ideas of looking at how are we able to encourage the alternate channel of recruitment. So people who might be post their retirement, or people from people with disabilities, or any other such channels also where we can encourage that as well. So this is clearly what our plans are as far as our future hiring is concerned. We are looking at a very hybrid model as of now. Obviously, it would be how much of our clients are willing to look at such models that we would work, because any work that we do, the similar work that we do requires a sign off from the clients as well. So that's how we are planning across. We also have the entire, as I mentioned, the other set of hiring that we do, which are more of the supervisory, the technical, as well as this. Here we are absolutely open, and as you rightly said, it has given us an opportunity to look beyond the locations that we are, and look at a model wherein we are able to hire them remotely, and as of now we are doing that. And then if it is something, the nature of work is something that they can continue to do remotely, we would be more than happy to explore that as well.
Great, actually, yeah. It's the hybrid work model is here to stay, as we say. As we say, most organizations have adapted to that, and I think that the way you mentioned that you have a hub and spoke model, you can have certain offices set up in tier two, tier three cities, and people from around that area working. So that makes it easier and it's more accessible for them to also apply for such roles. And overall, the organization gets a wider talent pool. So I think that's very interesting to know. Thank you for sharing that, James. What about the skill sets that you're looking for in terms of all the roles that you just spoke about? What are your expectations in terms of skill sets, James?
Yeah, so as I mentioned that our major hiring is for people who would be doing the back office work for us, and these are basically people with a graduation, which becomes a must. How well are they as far as their comprehending ability is concerned, both in language as well as various other comprehending abilities that is required. For example, how good are they as far as eye for details are concerned, their analytical abilities. So these are some of the skills that we would require as far as our volume hiring is concerned. We also would require for a different set of work that we do, where the communication skills are very important as far as the spoken communication is also concerned, because they may have to engage and interact with the customers as well. So that's what we would be looking out for. And some of the other requirements that we have would be people with the in the technology part, people with the .NET, Java, such technical expertise that they would have. And in the digital part or in the automation part, people having experience in various business intelligence, as well as the automation anywhere and such new age learnings that they would have.
Thanks for sharing that, James. I think yes, I the audience joining us. So, do you also have any specific requirements for roles other than the freshers who will be joining you? On more mid-level roles, any specific requirements there?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned that the entire 15,000 people that we have in our organization in India, again, requires a lot of support that is required. And be it your supervisors or team leaders that we have, the assistant managers that we have, the managers, the training team, the quality team, the business excellence team, the workforce management team. So
Yeah,
these are all supervisory layers that you have, and you require that as far as the team is concerned.
yeah.
And not to mention what I mentioned about the technical support that we would be requiring as well for our technology work that we do.
Great. Thanks, James. Can you take us through a little bit more on the work-life culture at your organization, James?
So, so as far as HGS is concerned, we are a very, we keep the people at the center of our, heart, and our people-centric organization. And whatever we do for our customers or clients evolves with, people in mind. So clearly, when it comes to the development of our people, it is of primary importance for us. We invest on that. You will find that people who would, join us at entry level is also still with us as somebody who's managing a span of almost around 1,000 people. So that's the type of growth that we get, and that's the type of investment that we do. So clearly, that becomes very important for us. We also, as an organization, believe in a lot of a pat on the back for the team that works with us, the people that we work with us. On a constant basis, we engage in various uh, activities that are, rewarding and recognizing the performers at various intervals. Ensure that the that we keep a very broad aspect as far as giving back to the society is concerned. Each and every employee in our organization is encouraged to work for the CSR activities, and we have a separate team who monitors that and keeps on encouraging us, and somewhat like almost 8 hours in a year is what we are looking at as far as each individual is concerned, as far as giving back to the society is concerned. And it can be in any which way that you can able to contribute. So they will give you a lot of lot of other channels in which you are able to do. It can be as simple as walking for a cause, or writing some of the letters that can help people and motivate them who are looking out for opportunities. So we come across with various such activities. HGS as an organization also has a very diversified, uh, talent pool that we, consciously hire for us. We are very proud to say today that, almost 50% of our population are from the women population that work with us. So we will always see that there's a higher number of, people working from the women population, as well as if you look at focused in the hiring as far as the people with disabilities is concerned. Yeah, so it's a very inclusive culture that we have, very people friendly, and that's the culture that we have.
That's great to know. With having employees to that scale, where you have 10 to 15,000 employees, having that cohesive culture where everybody's stitched together with a common vision in mind. I think that's very important. Recognizing them, engaging with them, helping them contribute to the larger society. I think very important points. And overall, yes, being an inclusive workforce, and I think that's a key factor that organizations and that employees want to work for now. So thanks for sharing that. Thanks so much, James. All right. So tell me, has there been any major changes in your interview and assessment process, given that everything is happening virtually in the past 1 year?
Wow, that's a good question. And honestly, as I mentioned to you that as an organization, we were quite early to ensure that we move remotely as far as the recruitment is concerned. And believe me, specifically in India, what used to happen is that almost 90% or almost most of the population is to walk in into our centers, and we used to conduct all our pre-screening activities, the assessments that we need to do, the interview that we need to do in our center itself, and that's how we would create our infrastructure itself. And that to a fine day, moving completely to a remote way of hiring, was not very easy for us. But thanks to uh, our perspective of work from home, starting long back as far as our North America is concerned. So we had a few number of people, in our North America population, and who were working from home, and that experience of them helped us to ensure that we immediately move into some of the support that we would require as far as remote hiring is concerned. So if you look at today, you have a lot of curious applicants who would like to apply, knowing that it is a remote working environment, right? So how do you handle that? So what we have done is that we have moved on from not just handling it by a pre-screening mode or not only handling it by human intervention, but ensuring that we create a bot that takes the entire activity of screening the candidates or screening the applications across 24 hours is concerned. So the bot has been tuned in that manner. Not only that, the second part is our assessment. That becomes very important. So the entire assessments that we do, then the bot itself will schedule them for the assessments, and the candidates can go through the assessments. Earlier, we used to have a supervisor at our locations looking at people, as far as their assessment is concerned and supervising them. Now it is a proctored environment as far as your assessment is concerned. So if there are any malpractices that takes place, then we get our highlight in our report stating that the assessment has taken place in a wrong manner or not in a manner. So we do our required investigation. Same way, if you look at what becomes important is your entire network and the internet connectivity as far as the remote workforce is concerned. So when we are doing this check, we also have integrated with certain companies in which the bot itself will do the test or check that is required as far as the connectivity is concerned, right? And the interviews, then the interviews are both a synchronized interview as well as whatever we are now engaging in through Zoom or various other tools where you can have an in-person interview. But the entire synchronized interview is also possible for a candidate to get into it, and a 24-hour window available wherein they can, based on the predefined questions, can give the answers. And this entire thing again is built in by how do we ensure that the candidate engagement takes place any point of time, right? So this is the change that we have got into. Yes, some of these things are implemented in North America, and as we are moving ahead, we are looking at bringing it to India as well. But some of these aspects are already there in India as well.
These are some very interesting initiatives, I must say, because having a bot to do your initial screening, and then also having a 24/7 window for interviews that you can come and give without a human intervention, they're very interesting, I think. But would you want to keep this going forward, or would you want to move back to the human angle of hiring people as well?
So imagine this, if I state that we have done around 16,000 hiring, so imagine the number of applicants that would have come. We have a ratio of around 1:5 or 1:8, right? So it means that every hour there has to be almost around 200, 300 applicants that we need to service to. And if
Yes.
I need to do that, and if I need to be a differentiator, and if I need to ensure that my entire mechanism works in a manner, this has been a great example for us. And thanks to, whatever we have seen, which has forced us to do that steps,
Yeah.
clearly we are looking at, how do we work on digitalizing it better? How do we ensure that the predictability becomes better? And how are we able to, continue the hiring in this manner, not only for our volume hiring, but even, put it, taking some of these learnings into our supervisory hirings as well, and then managing that.
Great, great. Thanks for answering that so much. What would be a few tips from you for candidates to stand out in a virtual interview, James?
Wow, yeah, okay. So I think again, it is not very easy when you're having a screen to screen conversation, right? It's not at all easy, right? So that's one part. And the other thing is that when you look at the technical aspect that is required, even that is very important. How much of how much of technology is available, how much of bandwidth is available, internet is available, and things like that. So clearly, from the perspective of an interview or an organization, people understand those limitations, and can understand that given such an environment, there are certain things that may not work in the manner that the candidate would like to, while you were having some of these things in a brick and mortar environment. But having said that, I think some of the things that becomes very important is that you know how well prepared you are. So if you are you're getting into an interview, are you ensuring that your bandwidth, your internet, everything is in place, right? Because you will come across and across a time when your hiring manager or somebody who's talking to you may take some of the decision based on such environments. How are you handling such environments? How are you handling such situations? Are you, it shows that are you a person who's well prepared for that particular interview that you are, facing. We have come across, instances when, a candidate would tell us that, I have a pet at home and its feeding time is now and you will be hearing some barks. Please excuse me for that. Right. And that is well appreciated. Then somebody who's not, mentioning the challenges that he may have or he has foreseen, right? And then you suddenly see disturbance coming in. So I think some of those things becomes very important. The other thing is, when you are getting into an asynchronized interview, ensure that you are keeping your mobile phones and other activities away, because those are the things that may get detected and it may state in your proctored assessment that there is something that has gone wrong in your assessments that you are doing, right? Your asynchronized interview, again, it is as good as, practicing in front of a screen with nobody there in front of you. Not at all easy. But how do you start, building up your ways of doing that and making yourselves better than what, again, as I said, it is a 1:8 applicant. So any interview that you're facing, please understand that there are other candidates also who would be there, and don't give them a chance to have a better preparation or a better, knowledge about it than what you have done. So you need to be competitive in that manner and prepare yourself for your interview.
I think yes, I think that does matter. Yeah, the right preparation and figuring it out how do you put your best foot forward in a virtual environment. So I think that will be very important. So thanks for sharing that. So James, how would you describe the structure of the organization? How important is hierarchy, or are you a flat structure?
So, so if your, question is that does, the hierarchical structure in the organization, has its own, limitations and advantage. But having said that, the nature of work that we do, which is, huge operations, obviously needs to have a hierarchical structure that should be available. So for every, 15 agents or people in the volume or the service advisors that we have a team leader. For X number of team leaders, we have an assistant manager, a manager. So that hierarchy structure definitely, exists as far as our organization is concerned, because the nature of work is in that manner. But having said that, somebody who would like to, reach out to our CEO or would like to reach out to a manager or anybody in that, there are so many ways and mediums that are available through which they can reach out. We have a regular town halls that keep happening. We have regular skip levels happening, or HR is completely engaged with, various team members that are there. So that's the span that we have. So in a manner, while the hierarchy is there, it's a flat organization where people can just move out and reach people, and it's not at all difficult.
Yes, I think I totally agree. You can have the hierarchy, the structure, but if you have an open and transparent communication, if you're approachable, I think it works really well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Also, can you tell us a little bit about your upskilling and training programs that you want to call out for our viewers today?
Yeah, I think, clearly, if you look at the way that the the times have changed, it is very important that people should invest themselves into a new age technologies. It can definitely be at a different level, right? The more that I am involved into it, or the type of work that I do, I need to plan out that how do I upskill myself as far as, whether it is automation is concerned, whether it is, understanding more on artificial intelligence is concerned, whether it is, the cyber security is concerned. I mean, these are some of the skills that I would, really encourage people to look at. Basically, the new age technology requirements that are there. So, how do you invest yourself into understanding some of these skills and upskilling you, which is very very important. I think many a times, we are overconfident or we are absolutely fine with whatever the knowledge that we have, but I think we need to do, and believe me, today, the channels have so many of such paid training programs, unpaid training programs that are available, and at various levels. It can be, just to know, as well as if you want to, know more and more as far as that particular topic is concerned, you can keep on having advanced learning that you need to do. Over and beyond that, I always will believe that, some of the professional skills people should keep on investing themselves and try to, know more about it. Be it, your effective communication, be it project management, be it design thinking, right? Be it, working in larger teams. Some of these professional skills also are very, very important for, people at any levels, at any time. There is no harm in refreshing your skills as far as your professional skills is concerned, because the environment keep changing, and how are you able to skill your rethink about it, and, make yourself more updated as far as some of the current activities are concerned. So I really would encourage people to do that.
And how about an organization? Are you also putting in place a complete upskilling and learning program for people to learn these new technologies and these new professional skills? As an organization, are you also putting efforts into that?
Absolutely. So the other thing that our organization has is a separate team which, focuses overall as far as the organizational development is concerned, and this team has a calendar, keeps on, monitoring it, ensuring that across the levels people are engaged, involved in various, learning and development program that takes place. We also, invest on some of the NASCOM skills that are available. There are various, channels that are available for us to do it. During this particular, time also, we were provided with a lot of online courses that are available, in which we can invest ourselves and have some of those learnings and upskilling that we need to do. Some of these things becomes given as well as a part of your, to-do list, and it gets monitored as well, that, have people achieved their required upskilling for the year or not.
Yes, I think fortunately, one thing that the pandemic really brought to the fore was the need to upskill. And organizations as well as individuals all understood how important it is to learn and stay relevant for the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So before I come to the last question for you, James, I have a few audience questions that I'd like to pick up. And one of the
Sure.
questions that I have is, what according to you are some of the jobs that are in high demand after the pandemic? Are there any specific areas of IT, ITES that are likely to see high growth and hence demand for a skilled workforce?
Yeah, so as I mentioned that, the entire shift has become to the digitization part, and anything to do in relation with digitalization, you will see that there has been a high demand that has come across, right? Whether it is cloud computing, whether it is, cyber security, whether it is, artificial intelligence, all this related matters has a huge demand as far as the market is concerned. And if you go through some of the, job boards, you will see that the demand is huge as far as the requirements are concerned, and we also struggle as far as getting the right candidates are concerned.
Great, thank you. Thanks for sharing that, James. And also, there's a question on some. What are some of the diversity and inclusion programs that you can maybe share? You did speak about how it's very important to have a 50-50% ratio on women. Anything about the programs you have in place for D&I?
Right. So as an organization, as I mentioned, there's a huge focus right from, ensuring that people at our various levels are encouraged and training programs that takes place to ensure that the internal growth or any growth for that matter, as far as building them up are concerned on their various skills are concerned. So we have dedicated programs that takes place only for our women folks, right? Then we have various programs that takes place in which you have a lot of engagement that takes place with senior leaders who have come across in a similar fashion as far as from the diversity is concerned, and how do they engage with them and learn how they can build their career as well by learning how they would have done it while they have come into their senior positions. Similarly, during this time, we used to have remote parenting sessions that took place on a regular basis, so that people are aware about how do we how does the parenting activities that can help them specifically during this time when you have full, while you were earlier working from office, now you're working from home and your child is also there, and you need to have some other support also that is required. So we ensured that there are parenting courses that constantly happen for our diversity folks. We also have looked at various crash facilities that are available as far as our young mothers are concerned, so that we extend the crash facility to them as well. And yeah, so these are some of the programs that we have as far as our diversity is concerned. And not to mention, we almost have around 200 people who work, who are people with disability that work with us across locations. So we have looked at some of these job roles that can specifically suit them, ensure that we have, built up our training programs also similar to that.
Great. I think those are some great initiatives. Thank you for sharing them, James. Also, there's another question regarding the HR professionals who are attending this session right now. Can you maybe talk about how the role of TA has changed during the pandemic, and are there any new skills that TA professionals need to learn?
Yeah, post pandemic also, the role of TA, I purely believe, is not only getting the numbers or chasing the numbers, but clearly, believing in themselves that they are the ambassadors of an organization, and their role is very important, because they would be the first person that would be engaging with a candidate, and they give a lot of importance as far as your entire organization is concerned. So clearly they work as an ambassador. Number two is for them to understand business, that what is it that my business is doing, how is it faring, what is it that the requirements are, because many a times the TA just chases the number, and then is where the disconnect between the business and the TA takes place. But if you are more of an engaging person who understands the business and then engages with business or your stakeholders, of making them understand what is it that the market is, and what is it that that is happening, and what is it that would suit the best, and have a consultative approach, then it all always helps. So I think in that manner the role of a TA is absolutely important. Yes, during this particular pandemic time also, they also, like others, have to develop on their various skills that is required, as far as whether it is sourcing is concerned, whether is their interviewing is concerned, whether all the things that I mentioned that is important while you are working in a remote environment is concerned. They should be the people who should be using those skills and requirements in the first stage itself.
Absolutely agree with you. I think yes, they are the brand ambassadors of the brand that they're representing, and also knowing business, very being a part of business, understanding business is very important for them. And yes, the new skills, digital skills that are required to survive and thrive through this times, I think it's very important. So thank you so much for sharing that. And on that note, I have my final question for you, James. So if you had to call out three things on why a candidate should join your organization, what would those be?
Yeah, so it's not three, it's many. But let me see, what are the three things that I would like to tell people that why should they should join HGS, and why I am in HGS also. right, since last so many years. Clearly, as I mentioned earlier, that it's a very people-centric organization, and the culture that you find is very people-centric. So I would encourage, the way that the entire HGS as a culture works would be one of the reasons that people should look at how do they invest as far as your development is concerned. As I mentioned, the opportunities that you get as far as your growth is concerned, the investment that they do into various innovations mindset that is there, right? So if you have something different and you would like to explore that, this is the best place where people encourage people to do that. There are various um, such initiatives that you are able to participate and take well. The recognition that you get, the rewards that you get as an organization at various intervals, it is not only about the not only about your work, but even other activities that you do gets rewarded and recognized as far as HGS is concerned. So these are some of the reasons that I would encourage people to come here.
Absolutely. And I think I'll also add on to that from your side that it is absolutely a place to be, a great place to work because it cares for its people. I think, it helps them contribute for their own personal growth as well as for the growth of the larger society. So thank you so much for sharing that, James. That was all the time we had for this conversation. Thank you for taking out, James, and sharing such great insights and taking us through how great it would be to work for a company like Hinduja Global Services. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Yasmin. Thank you. You have been an excellent host. It was nice engaging and interacting with you. And thanks to all who have participated in this event. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you once again, James. Thank you to our audience for joining us for this session. We will be live once again very soon with more exciting opportunities. So please don't forget to tune in then. See you shortly, everyone. Stay safe, take care, and bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks, James. Bye bye.